Welcome back to Great Grace and Growth, and I'm your host, Laura Navaquin, and today we are diving into a topic that is essential for living a balanced and fulfilled life, and that is wellness. We're going to explore the intersection between entrepreneurship, sustainability, and well-being with a very special guest, Hilda Perez. Hilda is a Dominican American entrepreneur with over 15 years of experience managing a legacy business, co-founder of Savvy Marketing for Good, and COO of Salud. With her impressive background in social entrepreneurship and sustainable agriculture, Hilda is here to share with you her wisdom on how we can cultivate in every aspect of our lives. Welcome to the show, Hilda. I'm so excited to have you on today and learn all about what it is that you're doing.
Thank you so much for having me, Laura.
All right, so I'm going to jump in. I know that you have a rich background in entrepreneurship as well as social ventures. And I want to ask you your personal journey to wellness, both on the business side and your personal life. How did that all come together and how was this born?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was born into it. That's the best way of putting it. Literally, my father started our family business right around when I was born. So it's been 35 years now. No shame in saying my age. And, he is a general practitioner, nutritionist, and he emigrated from the Dominican Republic with my mother and kind of saw that while he was trying to set up his practice and everything, that we really needed to treat our community more holistically. He started to learn more about Eastern medicine, about different herbs, and recognizing that this is stuff that, he grew up with, right? That his grandma would make, or it's very normal and cultural to heal with natural plants. So that's kind of where the idea came to be. He created his own line of supplements, and 35 years later, now myself and my sister, who's the CEO, are running the company.
Oh,
Natural plants. So that's kind of where the idea came to be. He created his own line of supplements, and 35 years later, now myself and my sister, who's the CEO, are running the company.
Oh, I'm a huge advocate for just natural solutions to healing overall. So if we can do that with plants and items out there that Earth gives us, that's usually my go-to for everything as well. I'm like, I have a sore throat.
Yeah.
What can I use for that before I go and take over-the-counter medication or whatever it may be? Because you just never really know, what are the side effects of anything else over the counter in the long run, at least for myself. So.
Absolutely.
I love that. And I wanted to also ask you, so as the COO of Salud and co-founder of Savvy, you focus on empowering the community as well. What role does wellness play in your leadership and the impact that you're making within the community?
Yeah. So through Salud, even just with our employees, wellness is it's the ethos of the company. We do that by, internally by making sure that our employees have benefits, that they have, living wage, that they have flexibility in their work, because the majority of my team are moms. They're women. They have to take care of their parents. There's so many life circumstances. So we're really flexible when it comes to that. And I think that's something that we've had for a while now in our company. In the community aspect, we are really passionate about doing anything that has to do anything with nutrition. Nutrition is kind of the main goal of the company, is to understand how can we support our community with the nutritional needs that they have, be it access to healthy food, access to food in general, making sure that they understand where they can locate foods. My sister, who is the CEO, she is a registered dietitian. She sees patients, and we've been getting a lot of learnings of just what the community needs. So even if it's creating resources, because I remember one story, she had a patient and, she's talking through, she had diabetes. She's trying to figure out how can we support her with the food that she has, along with the supplement line that we have. And the woman was just like, I literally don't have access to food. I can't afford it. I don't, they didn't have the SNAP benefits. They just didn't have access to food. And that by itself was like a stressor, correct? So you're trying to help create someone's lifestyle habits, but they don't have the tool. They don't have the food. So she created a list of, food banks really quickly so she can locate them in her community. That was in Spanish language because she only speaks Spanish. So we're really focused on creating customized solutions for our community, for our clients. We do that also by working with a food council in New York, because that's where we're originally based, which is Washington Heights, the Inwood Food Council. They do a lot of food advocacy. We're going to start working with another organization here in Miami called Health in the Hood, because we know that it starts from the ground, right? From the root. Our kind of tagline is heal with your roots, and that even starts within the community.
So I didn't know that you were originally founded in New York. Can you explain a little bit more as well with your company, with your business? What is the approach?
Yeah.
Everything is custom for them, or are there off-the-shelf options?
Both. So it really depends the route you want to take. You can find our products on our website, which is salud.co. We have our suite of products there. We have a suite of information there. And just adding more every day. The same on our, social media. It's called @Salud by Dr. Rigo. They didn't have salud.co, so we just kind of kept the same one, branding. It happens. And you can book a session with my sister, who's a registered dietitian. She speaks English and Spanish. Very culturally focused, especially with, working with clients who have diabetes. So that's where we kind of build the unique solution, right? You book a call, you have a consultation, and you see if you want to go on your nutrition journey that way, or we direct you to somebody who could be, because we are very aware that we might not be the right fit. It might not be within your budget. All of these things are potentiality. So we want you just to get the help that you need.
Once a plan is created for them and they move forward with you and your services, are there follow-ups as well to ensure that they are meeting those targets?
Yeah, absolutely. Because she even studies, suggests that you get your blood work done, understanding that it's a full suite of nutritional consultations, depending on the goals that you might have. Because we see goals all the way from I just want to control my blood sugar to I want to lose weight. I want to, just include more whole foods into my diet. How do I do that? In what way? It's very customizable in that way. And then we support it with the supplements that we have. That we see, right? So it could be if we see that you're very low in vitamin D, we make a vegan vitamin D that's really great. You don't have to buy ours either. We suggest if you can't access it, go get another one, or please eat a lot more mushrooms. Mushrooms are great in vitamin D. So let's try to figure out what works best for the client.
I love that you incorporate not just your own products, but you're trying to make the plan accessible to the individual as well. So even if they are unable to purchase your products directly, that you're still providing them that plan and options on how to make that work for them. That's so important.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so would you share with me a little more about your plans with your company as well within the next year or so in expanding?
Yeah, so we just did a massive rebrand. So it's really exciting. We have our little new products here that I'm super excited to promote. They're in glass bottles because we're trying to be more sustainable just for the environment. More aesthetically pleasing, more available for more people. The goal in the future within the next year is to create more partnerships, definitely here in South Florida where I'm located. We're partnering hopefully with a company called Green Tomato. One is Health in the Hood, just to see what kind of services we can offer the community and then expand that nationally, right? So locating other organizations maybe in LA, Oakland, New York that are working with the community, that are working in food advocacy, and seeing how we can create really holistic solutions for those communities where primarily we work with Latinos and Latinos live. That would be the goal, with the 5-year goal of opening up our wellness center.
Yeah, that's exciting. And then, so would individuals as well be able to find any of your products in stores?
Right now it's just online, and we have a couple of pharmacies that we work with in New York, and that's expanding ideally. So that's the goal. And then if we can get into a national retailer, which we've been in talks with before, that would be also in the pipeline.
Yeah, that's great. All right. Well, balancing a career I know is demanding as well because, I'm always trying to balance things out and figuring out how I'm going to accomplish my career and my family and everything else and try to make time for myself as well. So I know it's challenging, but how do you maintain your well-being and what are some strategies that you can recommend to avoid burnout?
Absolutely. So I remember I used to work myself to the bone, right? Especially when you're an entrepreneur, you're constantly on the go. You're always working 10x the employee that you hired to make sure everything's okay. And really understanding, because we have a team of about 20 people that are, not just the team, they have their families. We've had, employees that have thanked us because they've been able to buy their homes because of our jobs and that they're sending their kids to college. So we really take or I really take that into consideration. So the burnout is real because you want to make sure you're taking care of a little community yourself. So for me, a big one is definitely prayer. My faith is a massive part of it. I don't do anything without putting God first, and God is the one who got us here to begin with. So I truly believe that that's kind of my foundation and my baseline. Second to that is I love working out. Strength training is something I've really gotten into in like the past 4 years, and making sure that I stay on top of my physical fitness, aside from wanting to, look good, but it's for the longevity, and it's the biggest de-stressor because you need, I'll go on a run and I'll get an idea for the company, right? It helps you kind of shut down that part of your brain that's constantly going, to give it some space to flow. I'm getting back into surfing, which I'm really excited about. So being physically active is a big one for me. But then, of course, downtime. I'm big on mental health days. And I feel like as entrepreneurs, as women entrepreneurs, especially if you are a mom, I'm not a mom yet, but I see it with my employees and my sister. You need, just time to have silence. I feel like silence is such a blessing for people that is taken for granted. So having time to be quiet and do something that is a passion for you that isn't work related, I think is a big one for me. So, surfing, I'm painting, reading. I'm a massive reader, but not just like business books, right? Go find the things that you like. And I always tell people, I'm like, think about what you did when you were 12 and do that. And then you'll see that you'll just love it. It'll be the best way to kind of balance yourself out so you can tackle the day again.
All those are so great. And I think it's an interesting point that you made as well, because, when you are an entrepreneur and you're working so often or more, long hours. And the interesting part there, I'm doing something that I love to do, and I do love doing what I do. Sometimes those hours can, pass by quickly, but you're still acknowledging them sometimes, because I'm realizing, well, I haven't had time for myself, or made the time to go do that workout, or you have time away to just do other things as well. Or sometimes when you just start feeling anxious, or our to-do list is so long, being able to take a step back, reevaluate, de-stress, and reset ultimately. And I love that you also mentioned working out. And it's so much more than just the physical aspect, because it brings clarity. I love going on runs most often, but another aspect I love about that is just being able to schedule out my day mentally, collect my thoughts. So many new ideas come to me, and I'm like, I was sitting on that yesterday or last week, and I was stumped. I couldn't figure out how to make it work, or how it was going to work, or feeling stressed out about it. But there's a new avenue. Maybe I should look into this or contact this person. And so all these different ideas come to you working out as well. So it's so much more than just the physical aspect of working out. And then of course, the benefits
the physique is always nice. Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
there's a lot of science actually behind it. I saw a study recently, and I'm going to butcher this, I can't remember, but it's attributing to how working out and kind of shutting off your brain in that way, and doing something that's either more repetitive, you're doing reps in the gym, you're just kind of focusing on your music and you're running, you're cutting off that part of your brain, so that literally that other 90% of brain power gets to come to life. And that's where a lot of solutions come. There's a lot of beauty that comes in that space, especially if you get to do a workout outside. If you have that privilege and that capacity, just being in nature brings out so much more calm and peace in your body. Just scientifically, your dopamine levels level out, your cortisol goes down. There's a lot to it for sure.
Love that you mentioned surfing. I'm not a surfer, but I've had an interest in that. So just kind of taking it back to yourself, had you surfed before and you're getting back into it? It's just something that you've had a long interest for.
I have before. I love to call myself a rookie enthusiast. I'm not fantastic. I'm not at all, for sure. I still haven't leveled up. It's kind of one of those life goals of mine, because surfing is also a really beautiful sport that you can do no matter your age, really, as long as you are good with your mobility and everything. But I lived in San Francisco for 4 years, and that's when I first started surfing. So it's something that I've carried into it, because I found so much joy being in the water and challenging myself. And because you have to be really present. There's surfers around you, there's waves, it's cold, it's hot. Like, you don't know if there's a shark literally it's a challenge to just be out there. But it's such a beautiful thing. And where you're located, there's really good surfing actually. So
really?
I hope that's something if you ever want to try. look for a surf shop. They host a lot of, sometimes they always have like free classes, even for kids too.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to look into it. I've only surfed like 2 times or so, and I was years ago, probably 15, 20 years ago. And I was in Southern California. And I mean, I wasn't a surfer. I just, go out on the board and did like the very basics, which was
Yeah.
fun. But my son has an interest in it now as well. And he's like, I want to get into surfing. He's 7 years
Yeah.
old. And I'm like, well,
Oh, that's awesome.
in the classes, because that's not me to teach you.
Exactly. Get a good long top board.
Yes.
And that's the age too, once you start doing things. And that's so beautiful that he wants to do something outside of anything.
Yes, I agree. Well, I do want to also ask you to share with listeners where they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my Instagram is it's Hilda P. Like just a little professional one that I'm starting to launch so I could share more of the work that we're doing. The company one is at Salud by Dr. Rigo. And then, we have a YouTube channel. My father has a television show in Spanish language on Telemicro that he hosts an hour Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and just talking about different topics. And I'm LinkedIn. I'm just Hilda Perez. If you want to connect, I'm happy to connect.
Yeah, definitely. And just again, to reiterate, I'm going to share all of those links with everybody so they won't have any trouble finding you. But then again, in closing, would you have any piece of advice to give to anyone out there looking to incorporate wellness more frequently into their day-to-day, or just anything wellness related that's perhaps we're not considering or thinking of?
Absolutely. My biggest advice, and it's something that I think works with everything when you're building a habit, especially for wellness, start extremely small. I feel like society is like, you need to train for the marathon. You need to fast for 24 hours to get, you need to do hot yoga 5 times a week, Pilates. And I'm like, it's just too much. Don't do it. In this economy, also, it's crazy to try to have that expectation. And it's something that you can really incorporate for yourself. And I think for families, start small. One thing that my sister says, and we share with our clients, is, add a vegetable to your breakfast. Pick one vegetable for the week. You're going to eat broccoli that week. That's the vegetable. Try it out. And then in that same process, you start kind of testing with yourself, because I think as women, as entrepreneurs, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be perfect, and allowing ourselves to have, the starting small, drinking one more cup of water that day. And that's celebrating that success and including it up and saying, okay, I actually don't want to do this anymore. And how do I transition? And having that grace for yourself and flexibility in the small is really important.
I love that you mentioned that, because I think that I often say that, not necessarily in the scope of wellness, but to individuals, when you're setting a goal, no matter what the goal is, to focus on the baby steps and the progress that you're making with those baby steps day to day, rather than the goal at the end of the tunnel, because that often creates just overwhelm, or can cause you to abandon your goal altogether, just because it's so much. It seems so intense, or when am I ever going to get there type of thing. But if we're focusing instead on those baby steps, we are making progress. We do feel like we're achieving things, and we are getting to that bigger goal at the end of the tunnel. So I love that you said that. And even for myself to think of it that way as well, with, health and wellness, and incorporating more vegetables within our diets, or taking a few more steps, moving our body a little bit more as well. And sometimes, I know even for myself with the steps, sometimes even when I'm tired, I try to make it a challenge, but I'm getting a few more steps, and kind of creates a competition within myself. I don't know if anyone else does that, but I
do that all the time. I have my tracker on I'm like, you know what, just get to 2,000, get to this, and just walk around and do something. Yeah.
So much easier for somebody as well to incorporate all these different lifestyle changes, just again, so it's not a fad that you're doing for a couple of weeks, but being able to make them lifestyle changes that you can carry on for years and longer.
Absolutely. It's consistency and not perfection, because it's not a competition. It's for your own longevity and for your family's longevity. So I think it's really critical.
Yes, I agree. Well, thank you, Hilda, so much for joining me today on this episode of Great Grace and Growth, and sharing your incredible insights and journey with us. I know that you've made it clear that wellness goes beyond just health. It's our movement and what we're incorporating into our diets, and as well as the mental aspect of it, clarity of thoughts, and so forth. So Thank you for reminding us to show up for ourselves today in our communities and our businesses as well. For everyone else and our listeners, those that are interested in learning more about Hilda's work and her ventures, you can find all the information in the show notes below. And remember that investing in your wellness isn't just about an individual act. It's about the ripple effects and how it inspires those around you as well to incorporate wellness into their day-to-day life. Thank you for joining me, Hilda.
Thank you so much.